So the market is crashing. We're in a downtrend. Shall we talk about it? Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new to the Crypto Mobster channel, make sure you have subscribed, hit the bell button and leave a like. I promise I am objective, I'm realistic, and some of my videos have aged really well recently, right? Some of them are doing really well, so if you are new to the space, or if you want to ignore some moon boys, which I am going to criticize a few today, because why not, we will talk about it, because the market's a bit crap. I do 3 videos a week. I do some project overviews, I do education. Some of these, by the way, have absolutely done really well. Like, for example, this one's starting to get traction. Talking about this time is different. And obviously some price analysis stuff, which is kind of this video today in terms of price analysis. So let's talk about it, because we have turned a little bit rotten very quickly. A bit of fear in the market. It's important to note that, because at the end of the day, fear will always turn something off, essentially, and greed will always make people... Yeah, you see the picture here, right? That's what moves the market. Sometimes good fundamentals do not move the market. It's all about the people within and what is happening at the time. I've seen some absolute dog turd coins pump for no reason. It's like, what, why? And I've seen some good coins with really good fundamentals that don't do anything, which is kind of a problem. So in this video, we're going to go over the market sentiment. We're going to go over some of the top indexes as well. And I want to talk about profit and why you should have profit for days like this. And yeah, we'll go over quite a lot. So make sure you enjoy it and like it and do all kinds of stuff, because I am sick to fuck of people tweeting the same things. Bitcoin is bullish, Bitcoin is bullish, Bitcoin. I do not care. The downtrend is in. So we're going to talk about it, right? So we turned bearish because there was an absolute monstrosity of a sell-off due to 800 million liquidations on Wednesday, as you can see via the text on the screen. Now, bearish sentiment indicator, the main element that most people look at is the fear and greed. It's like a combination of different bits of research and elements of like sentiment based off bits and pieces, all kind, yeah, good stuff, right? It's actually quite a good indicator, to be fair, to tell you where potential bottoms are. Now, that being said, the bottom could go to 0, as we always say, because it could. And we've got to look at all kinds of stuff. A lot of coins are making pretty severe losses due to overhype, right? A lot of them do. Luna, as a great example here, has done a monstrous move due to hype. It's a fantastic asset. But no one was buying that at $100. We're taking profit. Let's be honest here. We need to talk about that, and we will talk about that in this video. So when we start looking at all these kind of elements and why you should be looking at taking profit and why you should be looking to buy when it's low, that's the thing. You got to get over it. Psychologically, it's the most annoying thing. Most people want to buy when it's green and rosy and good versus when it's shit, red and dying, basically. You know, it doesn't make any sort of sense, right? You know, I could think of a lot of analogies, but I'm not going to. Anyways, there's a huge dip in volume. There's a huge dip in sentiment because a lot of people have came into the market due to certain characteristics of influencer. And I want to say it. I want to say it right now. And I don't mean to be a dick, but I really hope I don't get over 100,000 followers, because that's the caveat that I aim for. That's like, if you've got 100,000 followers on social media, if you're in the crypto space, it's usually because you've only done one narrative, which is usually an unrealistic approach, making big price targets, and ultimately creating people to get hype and doing the same tweets. I don't have to mention any names, but if you look on social media and you look at the top accounts, the higher they are, chances are the tweets are usually very, very narrative to one thing. Not everyone, obviously, but majority of them are. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, shall we do some price analysis and have a little look at the market? Why not? So, weekly time frame. It's looking rather rough. That is a weekly, boys and girls. Just to give you an idea. I'll explain what this is in a minute. You probably know where it is if you watched my last video. It is a total 2 chart. Or the total chart, sorry. It's a total market cap. It's basically Bitcoin, right? That is the market. That is why Bitcoin is a king. If any influencer tells you not to buy Bitcoin because you won't make enough gains, tell them to. That, basically, honestly, they don't understand the market. Anyways, moving on. The biggest level, in my opinion, for us to hodl and hold on to is 39k. Remember that one. because that is the key structure break that if we lose this whole region on the weekly time frame, which we are kind of now, it's going to be a bit rough. Why? Because we are in a downtrend. If we break that structure, we therefore do not have a higher low to play with, which is a problem. We've created a lower low, which is a downtrend, right? We may well do a relief rally and create a higher low, and that's a problem as well. Because what happens after a high low is usually a lower high. So be careful. So what I mean by this is we could actually do this. We could actually do a relief rally up here. I'll do this in more detail in a second. And if we do create a lower high and its rejection, it's going to continue going lower, which is what my tweet said yesterday. Tweet is here. I said, if it does that, get out. And that could mean we go back up to 60k potentially, and then it does it and rejects, and then we could melt even lower than that. So I will explain in more detail how to do this. So let's look at it. Okay. The must hold level is key. I've been having this on my chat for a long time now, weeks potentially. I've been talking about this potential move, and I'm going to outline it for you to show you. So the move that I was talking about, and the move that I got a lot of shit for on a certain account due to me calling someone out by saying, do you look at your tweets before you do them? We were going for a retest of the EMA and also the 0382. If we broke above these, fair play. We would have been maybe on a much better trajectory to go higher. But what's actually happened is we have created a new low, right? That new low is a problem. We need to find the bottom. We need to consolidate. We need to find the bottom. Simple as that, right? So let's just say, for example, here, we are going to go from now this level down to this level, and imagine, this is the caveat to this, imagine this is the bottom. We may well get a relief rally. And this relief rally may well create a lot of, interest due to us maybe going up to 47k or maybe even higher. In my opinion, we need to do two fibs on this because we may well have a smaller relief rally and continuation of the downtrend, which then could lead us to go even lower to potentially sub 40k into this region maybe, which is in confluence with this previous level around here, if you can just see that. But I'm more interested in the top to bottom sort of scenario here in terms of, are we going to create a proper lower high, therefore the cycle's over, right? That's what I'm thinking. So is it over? Is it? I don't know. That's the question. Let's go from, so imagine, oh fucking fib, man, come on, bear with me. So imagine if that is the case. Just hear me out here, right? This is a probability factor. If this is an A, B, C correction, right? And this is the floor, right? We will try and correct. If we do try and correct, and we get up to this level, 51k, cool. If we get up to 58k, cool. If we then do not make a new high, ooh. So we could go to this point here, right? And then we can reject. And we can reject from this point, and then that could be the end of it. We could be going much lower. We could actually be seeing a 33k from that point. I know these are all kinds of what-if scenarios, but the caveat to this is, if we do not create a new high in this move, expect a lower, or expect a load of consolidation for a while. It needs to carry on. What I'm saying here is it needs to hold this level, and it needs to continue going up and carry on going up, right? That's simply it. If it doesn't, and we create a new low and the structure is broken, it may not happen anyways for a long time until the future. But in this structural leg, it probably won't ever happen for a while. Make sense? Cool. So let's talk about a few things, right? If this does happen, and let's just say we do look a bit ropey, I want to give you an idea. And the idea is simple, and I'm going to talk about it. So it starts with P. It's not poo, as much as I want it to be poo sometimes, because this market is poo. It's profit, right? Take profit, because there's nothing wrong with you. Even if that does happen, you got to look at this. Look at the correlation between the total market cap coin asset index versus BTC. It's literally identical, right? Literally. Buy when it's going above it, sell when it's not. Simple as that, right? I talked about it the other day. But profit is key, right? We are currently dying off. If you are buying top solid support at consolidation at a fair price, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Just expect it to go lower if you're below these moving averages. Moving on. BlockFi. A lot of people whinge and moan about certain things, usually when they're in losses. But this is the thing. If you can identify structure and you know there's an exit point, well, you need to have a place to put the money. And I am currently, reveal for you, 47% in stable currencies right now between BlockFi, between Swissborg and other platforms. They all make money for me while I sit and wait. I could instantly, within a button click, go, well, I'm happy with the Bitcoin price. I can move that stable currency into Bitcoin. I've accumulated units. Ooh, that's what I did. So ultimately, I sold quite a lot of my Bitcoin in around 54k, which wasn't the great optimum. My optimum entry was missed due to personal problems. I wasn't on the chart a lot. But I'm still up if I wanted to accumulate units. I always accumulate Bitcoin. If you know my channel, Bitcoin is king. Accumulation through altcoins, through buying low, selling high, into the BTC pair in the dominance chart. Yeah. Blowing minds. But that's the thing. It's accumulation. And when that accumulation happens, you don't lose BTC through it. You just lose obviously USD dollars. That's the thing that people forget. Always concentrate on the units that you're accumulating of good solid assets, whether that is Ethereum, whether that is Bitcoin, whether that is even Polkadot or any other top layer, ecosystems. Most of them will survive. The price at the moment is irrelevant, but people are panicking over it. That's why that fear and greed chart looks like cack. But there's a link below for this. Free Bitcoin. Make some money while you can. So let's look at Luna. Let's look at Luna first. Now, I'm not here to gloat. I'm really not. I don't want to gloat. This is a video here of what I did on Luna, right? I talked about it. It was getting hyped. Everyone wanted me to talk about it. And I was like, right, you need to be as careful as anything right now because we are going to do a massive pullback. It's basically the top. And I explained why I said this. And I literally did it on the video. If you want to watch it and want to understand why I see these things, you can see it. Now, I want to put it on the chart here. Now, this was the level. And we've melted quite significantly. And I mentioned it before in that video, what's going to happen. I identified $75 as a potential level here. And this is no reflection of Luna as a bad asset. It's not. It's freaking brilliant. It just went too far and it's going to pull back. When you add in the combination with Bitcoin doing its thing and obviously Ethereum and all the other stuff kind of falling, rejecting, it's going to look pretty nasty, and it does. Now, let's talk about it. Would I buy this? If it gets to a certain level, and I mentioned it on that video, if it goes like below $60 or even $43, I will be looking to accumulate and just buy some because I think it's brilliant. Anyways, moving on. So this is what's happened. We've had a nice little impulse, and I said the next leg would be to go down to these levels, and we've done it. We've done it perfectly. But you're probably wondering, how did I get the top on that video? Well, actually, it was pretty simple. Using the Fibonacci, you've got two ways of doing it. You've got the impulse and the downtrend element as well, where you've got, obviously, you can have an impulse and it pulls back, and this was a top here. It was a perfect, look at it, it's fucking perfect, right? And I did this on the video thinking, right, there's a level here. If it stops and turns around here, we're going to turn around pretty aggressively. And we did. We're on our way now. We're flying down to lows. Now, that was that move. Now, what's happened now? We've had this impulse here, and we pulled back into this level, and this is what I already had on my chart before. Cool. The next level, we need to find out where the bottom is. And if there is a bottom on here at some point, we are going to correct back up. We may well correct back up into this region, and we may well even go lower towards this level here, which is obviously highlighted through structure. There's loads of levels here, and it's important to kind of know how these kind of do work and why they don't work at the same time. But at the same time, you could always argue, well, we could do a much bigger correction overall into the 618, which we are around that level. We could actually go up from this point. We could be creating a nice uptrend, and we could actually be just going back up to here, 135. So you can see all scenarios are kind of mapped here. But it's all about knowing where those extension levels are. If you notice a big move like that and you are looking at an extension level, and if you want to learn this, by the way, check out Learning Crypto. You'll figure it out pretty quickly. It's important to note that, and this is what the old-time market's like. Most things have done little impulses from big, massive dumps. Like this impulse here to this bottom, we went and retested towards this level and rejected around 382. We could be going much lower on Polkadot. Maybe not as low as other coins, but $18 is definitely a scenario here. There's loads of assets like this that are looking pretty rough because the whole market's looking like turd. And as I said before, the cheat is following that total to index, and all that total index essentially, like the total market cap, because obviously this is that mirrored. If you look at Bitcoin and that, it is literally identical. It is literally the same thing. If you look at altcoins in USD prices, most of them, providing the hype, will follow it. So going long, for example, here, long, even here, you could probably argue it's starting to show signs of weakness as this is getting lower, even though this is doing its thing. But what is actually happening over here? You've got a potential RSI diverge where it's double topping and the price action is going much higher. And yeah, we're falling. Now, what's going to happen with Avalanche? Now, let's look at it. Go to the top, to this impulse at the bottom here. We've had a perfect retracement up to the 618 levels. And this is what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does this where we do correct back up and we hit a certain level, it's potentially going to go lower. Expect Avalanche to go a lot lower if it loses this $75 range. If it goes lower than that, it's going to go and hit this level here, this previous consolidation range at 55. There's all kinds to unpack here. We are starting downtrend essentially, in my opinion, because we're not forming an uptrend, we're forming a downtrend because we're creating a lot of these lower highs, which is a problem. And then what happens at is usually a lower low, and we're already in a small one here. So if we can condense this down here and basically go, well, what's this on a smaller time frame? Well, yes, we've kind of created, this level of structure, but we've actually, we've rejected massively. So if we're looking at this, we are on our way. So we've went up, we've impulsed to the 618. We're on out. We've first hit this level. We could be going down to 80 around this level, anyways, further lower, and then creating a new one and just continuously just creating those little lower lows for a while until it eventually bottoms out.